It's one of our favorite off-season projects, ranking the schedules across college football, 67 all the way up to number 1. So that's the 64 teams in the Power 5 conferences, plus the 3 major independents. We are up to schedule number 44, the Pitt Panthers. We just finished off 45. That was North Carolina. So think about it. These two teams play in the same division, so they play the same 6 opponents in that division. And, of course, they play each other. You got to keep in mind that these schedules are extremely close. So unless you're Baylor and you play no one, or Kansas, or you're on the other end of the spectrum, some of the teams in the Pac-12 and the SEC who play extremely difficult schedules, these schedules are extremely bunched together. So not a whole lot of difference between number 35 and number 55 even. So 44 and 45, what makes the distinction? Well, you got to check out our 9-step process to get the full explanation of how we distinguish these schedules because, again, 9-step process here. But the difference between Pitt and North Carolina, to its credit, went out and scheduled Georgia in the non-conference, and they've got a game against a lesser team in the Big Ten in Illinois, but the game's on the road. Okay, for Pitt, out of conference, Penn State, Oklahoma State. I don't anticipate either one of those teams to be as good as Georgia, although Oklahoma State's a fringe top 25 team. Penn State much better than Illinois. So overall, Oklahoma State and Penn State slightly better than the 2 North Carolina out-of-conference opponents in Georgia and Illinois. Also, Pitt, out of division, plays Clemson. That's almost a wash against North Carolina having to play Florida State, but I give the nod to Clemson, especially since this game is on the road for the Pitt Panthers having to go to South Carolina to play the Clemson Tigers. All right, so that distinguishes the schedule. Again, Pitt with 2 difficult non-conference games in Penn State and a date at Stillwater against Oklahoma State. They've got 2 tough stretches during the season, do the Pitt Panthers. It's the Penn State, Oklahoma State, North Carolina trifecta, September 10th, 17th, and 24th. Also a very difficult 4-game stretch late in the season against 3 decent teams and Clemson. So you got Virginia Tech, Miami, the Tigers of Clemson, and a game at home against Duke before they wrap up against Syracuse. It's the Pitt Panthers schedule. It's number 44 in the country. It's the 3rd most difficult schedule in the ACC. Credit to the Panthers with the date against Penn State and Oklahoma State. We love to see the Power Fives go at it. Let's talk it up right here on Mark Rogers TV.